Well, good morning there. I'm Matthew, and when I'm not grinding steel, playing video games, or messing with my family, I like to do philosophy. So, I want to do a rundown between and try to explore the language that I've been trying to develop to describe the processing differences of the left brain and right brain. Ideally, I will figure out the principles that differentiate the forebrain from the front brain enough to develop terms for them, and then at some point to develop or perhaps enhance or update analogical models of the brain, or metaphorical, mythopoetic versions of the way the brain operates. Because I think I'm seeing that there's a big difference in the schema one creates from an analytical perspective of the brain and the schema one makes from an analogical or mythopoetic perspective. But okay, I'm going to explore this. Pardon me for just a second. That's gross, I know, but it was leaking into my throat. Sorry. Okay, so the terms. I've talked about this in other videos, I think, but I'll run through them. I've chosen primarily analytical and analogical, although there are many terms you could use to describe the processing methodology of the left brain versus the right brain, as built off of Ian McGilchrist's work. So, as for the factuality of these statements, well, I will say I came up with the processes prior to reading Ian McGilchrist's work. Those processes I had been developing probably about 3 years before I read his book. As I recognized certain patterns that were evolving when I tried to map out human cognition. Originally I had the now to the abstract. The abstract I now call essence, because there are two essence. There are two abstractions, if you will. But there are different methods of getting there. And I realized I had to add two instead of one after reading through Jordan Peterson's Maps of Meaning. Because he was clearly, in my mind, exploring not just the reasonableness of logic, which he doesn't. That's not what he's explaining, but he's expanding on and exploring a rationality that is something that has laws to it and makes sense. You can bring yourself to you can come to conclusions through it, although the conclusions are different because the format is different. But once I read his book, I realized, okay, the analogical, the metaphorical, the mythical, there is a logic to that, right? Analogically speaking, there is a logic to analogical thinking. And the reason I like the word analogical, first of all, ana is a negation, logic is like the word. It's without words. Words are this structure that the left brain builds to create these units of disconnected properties of the world and of our experience that we can then assemble into different shapes and stuff. And the analogical is more like, what was it? There was something else about the word analytical. The word analytical means to separate, to break apart, to cut up. So it's perfect for what we're talking about. Analogical, without words, well, words are the primary function we have to split things up. We name it, and then we know it is a separate thing. That process of naming engages the emotion of certainty, which in turn engages the emotions of euphoria when you are putting things together in an accurate way, and as well as the emotion of anger when that order is disrupted. So all our sensations of wanting order are left brain emotional systems, and these are necessary systems, right? These are like tags put on data to let you know what kind of data. It's like a text file, the TXT at the end of a document, or the JPG for an image. That's what emotions do. Emotions tag your data. They attack, and they tag the state, the overarching state of your data. But that is analogical. So analogical without word, it's imagistic, meaning it's these overarching, overlapping patterns. Specificity is saved in the right hemisphere. Abstraction and generality is saved in the left hemisphere. You can also, I like to talk also about completeness and accuracy. I didn't know I was getting into left brain, right brain difference when I came up with these terms. They just seemed to be the two methods we needed to create a completely accurate concept map, a map of concepts. Completeness meaning make sure you have everything necessary. That is a right brain function. That is the image, the whole pattern of whatever subject one is on. The left hemisphere, on the other hand, is about accuracy, making sure those parts are accurately divided and connected. But notice that those both function. What's really powerful about them, though, is that they are not purely left brain, right brain. It's more yin and yang. In fact, I guess I would have to say that all of these terms I'm using, the analogical and the analytical, they all rely on both hemispheres. It's just that there is a dominant methodology within that that's being used in those methods that is primary to one hemisphere or the other. A dominant methodology, but not the only methodology. There is a feedback loop. John Vervaeken talks about S1 and S2. And he says S1 is very quick and it's usually wrong, and S2 is more detailed. That's true, but there's also what you could call S3, which is actually just a return to the S1. Because S1 is our mythopoetic system. It's our patternistic view of the world, where we instantly see the image and in the associations with it. And then we go to the right brain and we analyze and we go, okay, what's the problem? What do we need to divide? What do we need to cut off? What are we carving here to create the image? What do we need to pair off? But then you go back to the analogical so that you can see the big picture again, and you can see if you've taken too much off. It really very much is like doing a piece of artwork, which I would love to do a series on someday, of describing how art is like building concepts. But anyway, I went a lot of places. I didn't get quite to the terminology I wanted, but that was a very good video. Thank you for watching.